Hello, and welcome to the first episode of BizBlogCast. I'm your host, Jason Bass, business strategist and entrepreneur. BizBlogCast's mission is to be a resource for starting, operating, financing, and expanding your business. You will be introduced to people who are experts in their field and who can take you farther in your venture, either with their products, their services, or insight. BizBlogCast can be viewed by visiting bizblogcast.com, on YouTube with the keyword BizBlogCast, and soon on iTunes. While you see this podcast is available in video, you can download an episode's audio version on the website. Episodes will be approximately 10 minutes and will be available every Monday unless otherwise indicated. Please subscribe to the show by clicking the RSS button on the website or the subscribe button on YouTube. When we return, you will meet our first guest, Myra Cisse, who will discuss SBA certifications. So please, stay tuned. Certainly, you don't want to end up like this business. But despite what you hear on the news, banks are lending again. However, they do want you to have a business plan. Hello, we're back, and I have Myra Cisse here from 8A The Easy Way.
Yes.
Right? 8atheeasyway.com, and she is going to actually give us some insight on 8A certification by the SBA.
Mm-hmm.
So, but before we do that, why don't you tell us what you do at Certification Consultants there?
Well, what I do is I help women, minority, and veteran business owners who wish to go into the federal government to get additional business. I help them with the certifications they need to do that. These business owners are already running a successful business and are looking to now take their business into the federal marketplace. And by working with me, what they end up doing is saving the time it takes to do this time-consuming process and outsourcing that non-revenue generating activity to a professional.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And I'm sure that they get more benefits by getting certification, which we'll talk about later. But,
absolutely.
How did you actually get involved in this? I mean, this is, it's kind of a niche area that, and a lot of people don't know about, but how did you get involved?
When I finished up my MBA program in 2010, I was kind of searching for something else to do. I've got a 20-plus year career in banking and was just not quite feeling fulfilled, and had worked with business owners for the previous 6 years and knew that was kind of my passion, but knew I wanted to get back into business for myself. My brother and I had a small business of our own, and I had successfully navigated us through the minority certification process and had done all the research and laid the foundation for getting our 8A certification. We were just waiting on our 2-year time frame. And, when we decided to go to our respective careers after dissolving our business, I still was unfulfilled and knew I wanted to get back into being an entrepreneur, but just didn't know where. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine one day who's in a closely held business with his father, and he was talking about how inundated he was, and he just wishes he could pay somebody to do these certifications for him, and it was like a brick hit me. I was like, oh my gosh, I could be that person.
Right.
I could do for others what I did for myself.
And that's how opportunities, I tell people all the time, you should listen to what people are saying, because
Right.
there's an opportunity somewhere in there.
Absolutely.
Whenever there's a point of pain, if you could help take that pain away,
Yeah.
then that's basically an opportunity there. Let's talk about the benefits, though, of certifications. Because there are a lot of minority, woman-owned organizations out there, and I think a lot of people just don't understand what the benefits are.
Right.
Tied to such certifications. I mean, and there are different ones, so just go over a couple of the benefits that
Well, I mean, there's a lot of value for the right business. I mean, and what I tell people all the time is part of what I do is kind of have a conversation with them about what their business, what their strategic objective is with their business, and then we can tailor the certification that's going to best meet those needs for them. Okay. So, the business owner that has a manufacturing business, for instance, and they manufacture some kind of widget that can be used by military, for instance, they may be very well suited to position those goods to the federal government, maybe a military agency or a Department of Defense or any one of the 15 executive branches of the federal government. So by having a certification, what that does is it really gives them a competitive advantage because they're not competing with Boeing and other big giant companies that have, resources that that the small business owner doesn't have. They're competing against other small businesses like themselves for those contracts that are set aside.
But now these businesses go across the gambit. I think because what will happen is some people will hear, Boeing or
Right.
And they'll think, well, I'm not big enough.
Or I don't have the right kind of
I
product.
don't have the right kind of product. And sometimes it could be as I don't want to say little, but it could be janitorial.
Absolutely, and that's what I tell people all the time. The federal government buys everything, and when I say everything, I mean from toilet paper to cleaning supplies to legal services to accounting services. So anything that any normal business would use, the government needs, and they buy it via contract.
Okay.
So there's a plethora of opportunities out there, and I oftentimes talk about that in the weekly newsletters that I do.
And I mean, something like this is probably, and not even probably, something like this is actually great when you have a downturn in the economy to
Absolutely.
have the government as a customer.
Mm-hmm.
We like to believe that the government will always pay us, right? Although some may question that, right?
Yes.
But nevertheless, it's still a good customer to have.
It's
Yeah, especially to kind of supplement maybe some downturn or whatever in the economy. So definitely. Now let's talk about different types of certifications. I think and what certification consultants do. What are the different types of certifications out there?
Well, there are a ton of different certifications. The ones that I provide to my clients are the 8A certification. That's for the 8A Business Development Program via SBA. SBA also has the Women-Owned Small Business Program. It's also known as WOSB or 8M. A lot of people refer to it that way. SBA has another one called Hub Zone certification. That's historically underutilized business zones, and that's for businesses located in certain areas that are trying to turn around and bring more economic opportunity to that particular area or sector, as well as the minority business enterprise, women business enterprise, and veteran and service disabled veteran-owned small business.
Now you have maps that would kind of, especially for those zone type segments, that
Right.
you have maps, I'm sure, that could be used.
On the SBA website, there are a ton of tools that have that, and a newsletter that I did a few weeks ago, it shows, has tools and resources where you can click here, type in your zip code or your specific address, and it will let you know where you are, whether or not you're located in a hub zone.
Okay. Well, I tell you this now. I've been to the SBA website, by the way, and
it's a bear.
There's yes. I mean, and I'm very familiar. I'm well enthralled in everything that goes on with the SBA. I know what's going on there, but I've gone to that website,
right?
And there's just a lot, a ton of links, and people get lost.
And that,
So I'm sure your help and guidance on that front would help them.
And that's exactly why I tell people, I mean, it's not that you can't do it yourself, but, it is your time more valuably spent in your business generating revenue? And the answer is always yes.
I tell my clients, as I do business plans for others, I tell them, stay in your lane. Right? Don't try to be the accountant as well as the person who gets the certifications, as well as the people. Don't do that.
Right.
Stay in your lane. If you cook, you do the cooking.
Right.
So now let's talk about how they qualify again. What does a small business have to be?
Well, generally, every one of the certifications that I do, you have to be considered small according to SBA's size standards. And of course, there's another link buried in that wonderful SBA website that we all know and love. But I provide those resources to folks where, based on every single NAICS code that's out there, your size will be determined whether either by number of employees or by dollar amount in revenue per year.
Now let's do a quick backtrack. NAICS code. That's NAICS for everybody.
Right. North American Industrial Classification Code.
There you go.
Sorry, I speak in acronyms.
That's it. Well, that's why I had to catch you really quickly there. Now, if someone wants to learn more about your services, where do they go?
They can go to my website. That's www.8atheeasyway.com.
Okay.
Or they can reach me by phone at 866-936-2135. And they can email me at Myra, that's Myra,
okay,
at 8atheeasyway.com.
Excellent. I tell you, there's a lot of information, and you also have different seminars and sessions like that, right? Talk about that a little bit, just.
I usually do a once a month training seminar here in the Gwinnett County area of Atlanta, Georgia. I am going to be taking that to the web. So
Excellent.
with Mr. Bass's help.
Hey, you know what? We can facilitate whatever
Right,
works. If
right.
I think it's an easy way to reach
Right.
people. And this is 8A the easy way, so we want to make it easy,
Easy.
right? So, all right. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate
well,
you.
thank you so much for having me.
And everybody, please be sure to go to the website. All of the information is right here. Myra will be glad to answer any questions you have. I'm sure you'll find it invaluable, especially during these times. And we are on an uptick on this economy. I like to believe anyway. And with that, thank you so much for joining us. And I hope this was very informational for you. Thank you very much.